The silence you feel is not accidental. It is not random. It is not weakness. It is the echo of something ancient being forgotten. Before you click away, pause for a moment and feel it. That quiet pressure inside your chest. The sense that something vital has been leaking out of life without you noticing. Hold on, before we unlock the real power of semen retention, hit that subscribe button and join our Telegram channel. Link in description. We drop daily wisdom, success tools, and energy secrets only shared there. Don't watch from the sidelines, become part of the movement. There was a time when men did not wake up feeling hollow. Not because life was gentle, but because it was shared. Every sunrise carried meaning because it was witnessed. Every struggle was held by others. No man stood alone with his thoughts, and no night was spent drowning in invisible noise. Today the world is louder than ever, yet the soul feels muted. Screens glow, notifications vibrate, bodies move through crowds, but connection feels distant. You can speak all day and still feel unheard. You can smile publicly and quietly decay inside. This contradiction is not normal, yet it has become common. Ask yourself, when was the last time you felt truly grounded in your own presence? Not distracted, not performing, not escaping, just existing with clarity. If the answer feels uncomfortable, that discomfort is the doorway this message is meant to open. Ancient life demanded awareness. Emotions were not hidden or managed through distraction. They moved freely. Anger had a place. Grief had witnesses. Joy was shared openly. Nothing was suppressed long enough to rot into anxiety or numbness. Modern life teaches the opposite lesson. Contain everything. Control appearances. Stay functional. Do not reveal weakness. Do not slow down. Over time, this pressure builds, not outwardly but inwardly, where it quietly corrodes emotional stability. What was once strength through honesty has become fragility through suppression. Men now act strong while feeling disconnected. They endure rather than live. They survive rather than participate. This is not evolution. It is erosion. Comparison accelerates the damage. Endless images of perfection distort reality. Success appears effortless. Desire is manufactured. Value is measured externally. Gratitude fades because attention is always pointed toward what is missing rather than what exists. Instead of gathering around people, modern men gather around stimulation. Instead of speaking, they scroll. Instead of healing, they escape. Instead of feeling, they numb. The body remains present while the mind drifts elsewhere. This disconnection creates a hunger that never feels satisfied. A hunger for grounding, for belonging, for meaning, for something solid enough to hold on to when the noise becomes unbearable. What is missing is not entertainment. It is not information. It is not opportunity. It is emotional rootedness, a sense of inner home, a place within where energy gathers instead of leaks. This is where the deeper problem emerges, beyond loneliness, beyond distraction, beyond comparison. A constant draining of inner force that ancient life naturally preserved and modern life relentlessly extracts. Overstimulation has become normal. Desire is triggered endlessly. Impulses are fed instantly. The nervous system never rests. The body never accumulates strength. Energy flows outward without intention or recovery. Ancient men did not fight temptation daily, not because they were superior, but because temptation was rare. Their life force stayed within them, circulating through courage, focus, and emotional steadiness. Today, temptation follows you into every quiet moment. It whispers through screens and habits. It promises relief while stealing depth. Each indulgence feels small until its accumulation becomes emptiness. This is where semen retention enters the conversation, not as ideology, but as recovery. Not as repression, but as reclamation. Not as denial, but as direction. When energy is retained, something subtle shifts. The mind slows. Emotional reactions soften. Impulses lose urgency. Presence strengthens. You begin responding instead of reacting. Confidence stops being forced and starts becoming natural. Eye contact feels grounded. Words carry weight. Silence becomes comfortable. Anxiety loosens its grip because energy is no longer scattered. Retention rebuilds respect internally before it appears externally. Discipline stops feeling like punishment and starts feeling like alignment. You no longer chase stimulation because fulfillment begins circulating inside. Emotions stabilize because they are no longer riding hormonal spikes and crashes. Sadness becomes clearer. Anger becomes purposeful. Joy becomes deeper. Nothing is numbed. Nothing is exaggerated. This inner steadiness changes how the world responds to you, not through dominance, but through coherence. People sense when a man is contained rather than leaking. Ancient life enforced retention naturally through responsibility and rhythm. Modern life requires conscious choice. Without intention, energy is drained before it ever matures into strength. Retention reconnects you with instinct, with patience, with delayed gratification, with the ability to sit in discomfort without escaping. These traits rebuild masculinity at its core. Over time, the fog lifts. Motivation returns without force. Focus sharpens without caffeine. Sleep deepens. Emotions stop feeling overwhelming because they are finally supported by sufficient energy. This is not about becoming superhuman. It is about becoming whole again. About returning to baseline strength that was lost through constant depletion. The longer energy is preserved, the more the nervous system recalibrates. You stop seeking validation. You stop chasing novelty. You start valuing depth. Your presence grows heavier in the room. Not louder. Not aggressive. Just anchored. This is the presence that ancient men carried effortlessly, because their energy stayed home. Retention is emotional armor without rigidity. It protects without isolating. It strengthens without hardening. It allows connection without dependency. As energy consolidates, the need for distraction fades. Silence becomes restorative. Solitude becomes productive. Loneliness dissolves because you are no longer disconnected from yourself. The urge to escape weakens. The urge to build strengthens. Creation replaces consumption. Purpose replaces pleasure-seeking. This is why emotional control follows energy control. When the body is not constantly drained, the mind does not panic. When the mind does not panic, emotions remain navigable. Semen retention is not a mere habit or a health trend. It is the ultimate alchemy of the spirit. The art of holding your inner roar until it becomes a concentrated force of nature that can move mountains. The man who chooses to retain his essence is a man who refuses to waste his sacred gaze on every passing shadow of desire, or every flickering screen that begs for his attention. He walks with a deliberate slowness that unnerves the weak, speaks with a brevity that carries the weight of iron, and moves through the world as if he already owns the very ground beneath his feet. When you finally dare to look into the eyes of a man who has mastered his essence, you do not see the frantic hunger of the addicted. You see an ocean of peace backed by a volcano of dormant power. Modern civilization has become a master architect of human weakness, not through the use of chains and whips, but through the insidious and ceaseless power of digital temptation. Every illuminated screen, every provocative image designed to bypass your logic, and every seductive whisper of impulse is calibrated with surgical precision to pull a man's focus downward toward the earth. The goal of this modern matrix is simple, yet devastating: to scatter a man's concentrated power until he is left with nothing substantial to stand upon, leaving him perpetually unbalanced, easily swayed, and ultimately subservient. This existence, marked by hesitation and the perpetual seeking of external validation, is the default state of the man who has allowed his sacred essence to be forgotten. Modern men are not broken. They are exhausted, and exhaustion is not healed through more stimulation, but through conservation. Guarding your energy is not selfish. It is responsible. It is the foundation for leadership, clarity, and resilience. If this video gave you real value, tap the thanks button. Your support helps me keep creating deeper content like this. Every thanks is a spark that keeps this mission alive. Your support means more than you know. When you retain, you are not losing pleasure. You are postponing it until it transforms into power. This power is quiet. It does not announce itself. It shows up in consistency, patience, and inner calm. The world profits from your depletion. Your growth begins when that cycle is interrupted. Energy retained becomes presence. Presence becomes confidence. Confidence becomes influence. This is how emotional strength is rebuilt. From the inside outward. From conservation before expansion. Control your energy and your emotions fall into alignment. Control your emotions and your life follows. This is not a trend. It is a return.